2. Niki st. Quod my reamer baby hombro nominary corinthum, nam ex persona poeta et hanc urbem, it was damianum colonias iis nominibus appellat, quod bus vocabantur ejus, multo postilium captum candida vel dalt. Paterc. By 3. Footnote 125, return i.e. the later Achaia. Arnold. Footnote 126, return on the superior power of Agamemnon, see Grote, volume I page 211 and compare II. By X. 69. But those who possessed great Lacedaemon, full of clefts, and Pharis and Sparta, and of abounding method, Ambresia, and pleasant Augia, and those who possessed Amycla, and Helos, a maritime city, and those who possessed Los, and dwelt round Tylos. Of these his brother Menelaus, brave in battle, commanded 60 ships, but they were armed apart from Agamemnon's forces. Amidst them he himself went, confiding in his valor, inciting them to war, but especially he desired in his soul to avenge the remorse of Helen and her groans. Those who inhabited Pylos and Pleasantrin, and Dreos, by the fords of Alphus, and well-built Api, and Cyparisses and Amphigoneia, and Ptolemy, and Helos, and Dorium, and there it was the Muses, meeting the Thracian Timiris, as he was coming from Chalia, from Chalian Euryctus, caused him to cease his song, for he averred, boasting, that he could obtain the victory. 127 Even though the Muses themselves, the daughters of Aegeus bearing Jove, should sing. But they, enraged, made him blind, and moreover deprived him of his power of singing, and caused him to forget a minstrel art. These the Gerenian horsemen Nestor commanded, and with him 90 hollow ships proceeded in order. Those who possessed Arcadia, under the Abrisi 128 mountain of Cylon, near the tomb of Apieus, where are close fighting heroes. Those who inhabited Fairmuse, and sheep abounding are common use, and ripe and straighty, and wind-swept Nispe, and who possessed Tasia and pleasant Mantinia, and those who held Stymphalus, and dwelt in Poracy. Of these King Agapiner, the son of Ancus, commanded 60 ships, but aboard each ship went many Arcadian heroes skilled in war. But the son of Atreus, Agamemnon himself, the king of heroes, gave them the well-benched ships, to pass over the dark sea, since they had no care of naval works. Footnote 127, return respecting the connection of this story with the early poetic contests, CMELL or GK. Lit. IV. 2, whose interesting remarks are, unfortunately, too long for a note. Footnote 128, return i.e. lofty. Those who inhabited Buprasium and noble Elis, as much as Hermine, and distant Merceneus, and the Holonian rock, and Polygium, contained within. Of these the leaders were 4, but 10 swift ships followed each hero, and many Achaeans went aboard them. Amphimachus and Talpius, sons, the one of Titos, the other of Euryctus, Bacter's son, commanded some. Brave Diores, son of Amarincus, commanded others, and godlike Polyaxenus, son of Agasthenes, the son of King Augeas, commanded the 4th division. Those from Dulichium, and the Echinids, sacred islands, which lie beyond the sea, facing Elis. 129 Over these presided Meges, son of Phyleus, equal to Mars, whom the knight Phyleus, beloved by Jove, begot, who, enraged against his father, once on a time removed to Dulichium. With him 40 dark ships followed. Moreover Ulysses led the magnanimous Cephallenians, those who possessed Ithaca and leaf-quivering Rhetos, and who dwelt in Crotalia and rugged Agilis, and those who possessed Zacynthus, and those who inhabited Samos, and those who possessed the continent, and dwelt in the places lying opposite. These Ulysses commanded, equal to Jove. In council, with him followed 12 red-sided ships. Thorbus, son of Andramon, led the Attalans, those who inhabited Pleuron, and Olympus, and Pylene, and maritime Chalcis, and rocky Calydon. For the sons of magnanimous Neus were no more, nor was he himself surviving. Moreover, fair-haired Meleager was dead. 130 To him Thoas, therefore, was entrusted the chief command, to rule the Attalans, and with him 40 dark ships followed. Footnote 129, return This description of the Achaeans has something equivocal in it, which is cleared up, if we suppose it addressed to the inhabitants of the Asiatic side of the archipelago. But if, with Pope, we understand the words beyond the sea to relate to Eli's, I think we adopt an unnatural construction to come at a forced meaning, for the old Greek historians tell us, that those islands are so close upon the coast of Eli's, that in their time, many of them had been joined to it by means of the Achelous dotwood. On Homer, page 8, square. Footnote 130, Return Grote, Hist. of Greece, volume I page 197, after referring to the Homeric legend respecting Meleager in II. XI. 525, SQQ, remarks that though his death is here indicated only indirectly, there seems little doubt that Homer must have conceived the death of the hero as brought about by the maternal curse. The unrelenting Berenice executed to the letter the invocations of Althea, though she herself must have been willing to retract them. Spare-renowned Idomeneus commanded the Cretans, those who possessed Iasus and well-walled Gortyna and Electus, and Miletus, and white Lycastus and Fastus, and Rhegium, well-inhabited cities, and others who inhabited the 100-town Crete. These here famed Idomeneus commanded, and Merians, equal to man-slaying Mars, with these followed 80 dark ships. But Tlepolemus, the brave and great descendant of Hercules, led from Rhodes 9 ships of the haughty Rhodians, those who inhabited Rhodes, arranged in 3 bands, Lindus, and Elazus, and white Cameters. These here famed Tlepolemus led, he whom Astyoche brought forth to the might of Hercules, 131 whom Astyoche he Hercules carried out of effort, from the river Selleis, after having laid waste many cities of nobly descended youths. Now Tlepolemus, after he had been trained up in the well-built palaces, straightway slew the beloved uncle of his father, Lysimneus, now grown old, a branch of Mars, and instantly he built a fleet, and having collected many troops, he departed, 132 flying over the ocean, for him the sons and grandsons of the might of Hercules had threatened. And he indeed came wandering to Rhodes, suffering woes. And they, divided into 3 parts, dwelt in tribes, and were beloved of Jove, who rules over gods and men, and on them the son of Saturn poured down immense wealth. Footnote 131, Return as in the Odyssey. I prefer preserving the quaint simplicity of these antiquated paraphrases. Footnote 132, Return Grote, History of Greece, volume I page 33, has collected the Homeric instances of exile for private or involuntary domicide, observing, however, from the Skol. On Il. XI. 690, that Homer never once describes any of them to have either received or required purification for the crime. Nisus moreover led 3 equal ships from Syme, Nisus son of Aglio, and King Aropus, Nisus, the fairest of men that came to Ilion, of all the other Greeks, next to the unblemished son of Peleus. But he was feeble, and few troops followed him. But those who possessed Nisus, and Crapatus, and Casus, and Cos, the city of Eurypylus, and the Callignophiles, Phidippus and Antiphus, both sons of the Thessalian king, the son of Hercules, commanded. 30 hollow ships of these went in order. But now, O Muse, we count those, as many as inhabited Pelasgia and Argos, both those who dwelt in Alos and Alope, and Trecon, and those who possessed Thyre, and Hellas famous for fair dames. But they are called Myrmidons, and Hellenes, and Acavans. Of 50 ships of these was Achilles chief. But they remembered not dire-sounding war, for there was no one who might lead them to their wracks. For swift-footed Achilles lay at the ships, enraged on account of the fair-haired maid Briseis, whom he carried away from Lyrnessus, after having suffered many labors, and having laid waste Lyrnessus and the walls of Thebes, and he killed Mintes and spear-skilled Epistrophus, sons of King Avenus, the son of Silipius. On her account he lay grieving, but speedily was he about to be roused. Those who possessed Thalas and flowery Pyrasus, the consecrated ground of Ceres, and Eden the mother of sheep, maritime Antron, and Gracitlin. These warlike Protesilaus, whilst he lived, commanded, but him the black earth then possessed. His wife, lacerated all around, had been left at Thalas, and his palace half finished. For a Trojan man slew him, as he leaped ashore from his ship much the first of the Greeks. Nor were they, however, without a leader, although they longed for their own leader, for gallant Podarces marshalled them. Podarces, son of sheep abounding at Philus, the son of Philocles, own brother of magnanimous Protesilaus, younger by birth, but the warlike hero Protesilaus was older and braver. His troops wanted not a leader, but lamented him, being brave. With him 40 dark ships followed. Those who inhabited for by the lake Bubades, Bede, and Glaphra, and well-built Ilsubs, these Eumeles, the beloved son of Admetus, commanded in 11 ships, whom Alcestis, divine amongst women, most beautiful in form of the daughters of Peleus, brought forth by Admetus. Those who inhabited Methone and Thaumacia, and possessed Meliphae, and rugged Polizon, these Philoctetes, well skilled in archery, commanded in 7 ships. 50 sailors, well skilled in archery, went on board each to fight valiantly. But he lay in an island enduring bitter pangs, in divine Lemnos, where the sons of the Greeks had left him suffering with the evil sting of a deadly serpent. There he lay grieving, but soon were the Argives at the ships destined to remember their king Philoctetes. Nor were they however without a leader, though they longed for their own leader, but Medon, the bastard son of Oileus, whom Rhina brought forth by city-wasting Oileus, marshalled them. Those who possessed Tricca, and Heliathome, and those who possessed Chalia, the city of Chalian Euryctus, Podialareus and Machaon, 2 excellent physicians, 133 both sons of Asclepius, led these. With them 30 hollow ships went in order. Footnote 133, Return Grote, Volume I page 348, remarks that the renowned